There's something dynamic about witnessing or giving testimony about our faith. We feel movement within our heart, whether we give a personal witness or receive someone else's. And the hope is that we will all be touched by the divine essence, the God embodied there. I believe the gospel today is calling us to be living witnesses to Jesus's message of love, healing, joy, and forgiveness, and to be real in the ways we express it. So let's begin by talking about the challenges that we face when giving witness about our faith, and then offer a few examples. I think it's important to recognize upfront that our faith witness can take many forms, including, but not limited to, words, presence with a CE, and actions. So what is it then that makes giving our faith witness a challenge? I would like to share 3 challenges. The first is vulnerability. We are vulnerable when expressing our spirituality. We each experience God and express our faith in a unique way. And sharing the core of who we are in God opens us to the possibility of being ridiculed, criticized, misunderstood, or even ignored. As a brief illustration, I felt quite vulnerable when I moved away from the institutional church toward priesthood and creating a new path in the Catholic tradition. Honestly, I was afraid of what other people would think. You, our Mary Magdalene community, as well as family and friends who understood my sense of call, helped me face my vulnerability and graced me with the confidence to give witness publicly to my faith. The second challenge is intimacy. When we give witness to what we believe and how we live those beliefs, we're sharing intimate parts of our being. When we share the doubts and uncertainties that surely were part of that journey, our witness becomes even more intimate. This brings us to the third challenge, risk. We must be willing to risk being vulnerable and intimate in order to follow Jesus's call to be witnesses of our faith. I think these words from scripture commentator Reverend Dr. Janet Hunt sum up the importance of telling our story. She says, "It is only mine to tell the story as it has been true for me. And God will use that fragile witness to make the difference it is meant to make." Knowing that witnessing or telling our story requires vulnerability, intimacy, and risk, let's now consider a few examples. The first is related to a natural phenomenon that occurred this past Monday. How many were able to see some of the solar eclipse as it was happening? Ah, yes, a lot of us. Okay. Wasn't it an extraordinary sight? And honestly, it was more than a sighting. It was a stunning experience of natural beauty and wonder. I'm so grateful to Pat McKittrick, who gave witness to this by sharing some unforgettable photos, they're over here on the prop, of the total eclipse that she experienced in Burlington, Vermont. Here at our place in the Philly area, Stan set up viewing seats in our driveway. We and the neighbors were able to track the moon's movement throughout the amazing 2-hour show. In that moment, time stood still as we witnessed divine beauty in all its splendor. Even the clouds passing through the sun added depth to the moment. Not only was the eclipse itself beautiful, but meaningful conversations about family and life flowed naturally as we all sat together and gazed at the beauty before us. I invite each of us to reflect on the ways that experience or another nature experience continues to reach into our being. And let us ask ourselves, how is the living Jesus calling me to give witness, to tell my story about the power of that experience in my life? Another example is related to the Holocaust and the importance of faith and family. Esther Starobin shared her story on the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum website. Her witness was about her birth mother, Kathy Lemberger Rosenfeld, who saved her life when she was 2 years old by sending her to England on the Kinder transport. And her foster mother, Dorothy Harrison, who raised her for the next 8.5 years. Esther said that she read the letters that her mother wrote while she was in the concentration camp, and that she appreciates and continues her mother's belief in God and family. She went on to say that her mother believed in the goodness of others and that family takes care of one another. Esther gave further witness to her belief in God, which came not only from her birth mother, but also her foster mother. In her words, through Dorothy, I came to appreciate the value of being part of a congregation and the community that comes with it. Esther also came to understand that through both of her mothers, that family is not only made up of people that we're born into, but all those who act as family. Esther's witness about her mothers and their powerful impact on her faith and her understanding of family and community demonstrates how someone's influence can last a lifetime. Let us each ask ourselves, who in my life has impacted me? And how is God challenging me to tell that story? The last example grew out of a conversation I had recently with Mimi Limbach. Mimi was talking joyfully about her grandchildren, how these little people are miracles and really help to bolster her belief in God. She said she looks at them sometimes and wonders what they will do when they grow up and become adults. It was marvelous to receive her story and the love embodied so fully in Mimi's presence and words. Building on that, I want to share some quotes from a group of 4 to 8-year-olds. A group of professional people posed this question to them. What does love mean? Here are their answers.
From Rebecca, age 8. When my grandmother got arthritis, she couldn't bend over and paint her toenails anymore. So my grandfather does it for her all the time, even when his hands got arthritis too. That's love.
From Billy, age 4. When someone loves you, The way they say your name is different. You just know that your name is safe in their mouth.
From Bobby, age 7. Love is what's in the room with you at Christmas. If you stop opening presents and just listen.
From Cindy, age 8. During my piano recital, I was on a stage and I was scared. I looked at all the people watching me and saw my daddy waving and smiling. He was the only one doing that. I wasn't scared anymore.
From Mary Ann, age 4. Love is when your puppy licks your face, even after you left him alone all day.
From Jessica, age 8. You really shouldn't say, I love you, unless you mean it. But if you mean it, you should say it a lot. People forget.
Little boy saw his next door neighbor sitting on the porch crying. He went into the old gentleman's yard, climbed onto his lap, and just sat there. When his mother asked what he had said to the neighbor, the little boy said, "Nothing. I just helped him cry."
Just as these young people told their story about love, let us too give witness to love. Be vulnerable, be intimate, and take a risk. This week, tell your story of faith, family, love to someone who will listen. And be assured, as Janet Hunt said earlier, that God will use that fragile witness to make a difference.